20 updates for Uber drivers and couriers just announced yesterday. And what's interesting, this is directly on the heels of DoorDash announcing updates for Dashers. Now, in that update, I'll leave it linked down for you down below in the description in the comments. DoorDash announced new features and what to look for Dashers. I'm really curious. I reviewed this. There's a whole hour-long call if you want to watch this as well, the presentation from Uber. Which of these improvements will actually help you as an Uber driver and courier? Because here's the thing. Uber is uniquely positioned to give you different earnings modes that no one else has. You can switch from mobility, ride share to food delivery, right? So here's what we're going to be going over today. This is the third annual Only on Uber event. We can see helping to make driving and delivering safer, fairer, and easier. And I recall last year, the premise was making Uber the fairest and most transparent platform. So here in 2024, it seems like they're kind of keeping that same verbiage here: safer, fairer, and easier. So let's go over this today. I want to go over all 20 changes, and I have this linked down for you as well if you want to follow along with me or simply read more details here. So this first blog post has everything, has a bunch of info on all these changes, everything from mobility to delivery. And yes, there's things in here specifically about earnings. But what I want to show you specifically today is this other newsroom post that they have that I think nicely conveys everything a little cleaner. And again, both of these resources are linked down below. So let's start. 20 plus improvements to your Uber experience in 2024. The feedback you share with us through the crew program, like driver focus groups, and surveys, helps us improve your experience with Uber. We're excited to share new app features that are designed to help make the things you do every day safer, fairer, and easier. So as I read this, and there'll be chapters for you watching in the replay, let me know for each one of these, is it going to help you? Are you indifferent about it? Or is it a game changer? Or is it like nothing? We can be honest here. So looking at these three segments here, again, safety, fairness, and ease. Safety, feel more secure with the measures designed to help keep you safe on the road. And listen, Uber and Lyft, those are the main rideshare players in the space. And that's actually what I first started with. I first started October of 2015 with Uber. And I think maybe 3 months later, I added Lyft. And I started my side hustle journey with thousands of rideshare rides. It was here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is where I started. And I did typically 10 p.m. until about 4 a.m., like straight bar rush. And it was a lot of students, but it was also a lot of unpredictability, especially 2015, 2016. So safety has always been paramount in the mobility sector. Fairness. We're giving you more ways to have your voice heard on decisions that affect your experience on the platform. And ease. Drive and deliver more easily with the first phase of our updated app. So I detailed changes on DoorDash. This is a complete redesign of their app, of their driver app. So we need to see if that actually makes sense as well. Let's continue. Starting first with safety. New measures to help you feel safer on the Uber platform. Number one, look for verified rider badges in the app. Mobility, obviously. Feel more confident picking up riders by knowing they are who they say they are. We verify riders by reviewing their account details, cross-checking them with third-party databases, and if needed, asking them to submit a government ID. Verified riders have a badge next to their name and rating, giving you another way to make an informed decision when driving with Uber. Now, remember, when I first started doing Uber, there's a lot of ambiguity of who am I picking up. I remember a lot of the times it could be just a random name or a letter. It could be like, oh, I'm picking up A. Or sometimes it might even be like symbols. It was like $, like I don't even know, Aaron, $, exclamation. You're like, what is this, screen name or is this a rider? And they did not have these kind of measures that they do now. Now, this isn't for everybody, but if you're driving rideshare, I would want to know. I don't do a lot of rideshare. There's other sources. I definitely recommend the rideshare guy here on YouTube if you want to focus on, Lyft and Uber. That's the rideshare guy. Great channel with Harry's and his team over there. But anything that helps me know, okay, there's a government ID that's uploaded. There is cross-checking. Is it going to be perfect on every ride? No, it's not going to be on every ride, but these are features that were not on the Uber platform when I first started. So if you're just starting or if you're thinking about rideshare, these are actually features that would make me feel better about picking up passengers. It's still a more volatile platform. The vast majority of rides go without issue, but we do want to have safety features. Next, what if you don't want to pick up the passenger? Cancel whenever you feel unsafe without penalty. There's a completion rate on a lot of these platforms, like how many offers you're offered, right? Rides you're offered, and then the percent of those rides that you complete here. And a lot of these platforms, if it's too low, you can get deactivated. You lose access to these valuable platforms that help you earn some extra money. Imagine not having Uber or like I'm gone on DoorDash, and you lose a big chunk of those options there. So we know there may be times when you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. I just thought of a great example of this. Listen to this. Drop a like on this video if you can. Consider subscribing. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. Or if you feel unsafe on your way to pick up a rider. If you do, you can cancel a trip for safety reasons before arriving at the rider's pickup location with no impact on that cancellation rate. Obviously, that's what Uber calls it, completion rate with DoorDash. Communicate easily with guest riders. Pickups can be confusing when the rider is different than the person who requested the ride. We've made improvements coming soon to the app so that guest riders and drivers can communicate directly by phone and text in order to coordinate pickup. But I want to focus on this right here. So when I do ride share, I try to do one shift a year. Again, I'm more focused on other side hustles and gig apps for you. But during the holidays, Halloween weekend, which actually is coming up here, so you want to subscribe, you can see that shift, that I had on my last ride share shift, a passenger. It was at the casino. I'm not going to give away any identifying information, so that's okay to say. But this passenger, once I accepted the ride, when I was already pretty much in the north side by our, casino or stadium areas here in Pittsburgh, they immediately texted me basically asking if they wanted an encounter, we'll say, right? They were like trying to like set up an encounter, a casual encounter, okay? And I was not having any of that. Okay, that's weirded me out instantly. And I instantly searched for the cancel button. I was like, and then here's what's even weirder about it. They texted me again. They texted me like proposal, and then they texted me again with like question marks, and then a third time. And I'm like, get this person off of my itinerary. And I was just about to turn into the casino. I saw the front doors of the casino. So it was like weirding me out even more because I was like, can they see me? Because I'm pulling in. There's a lot of Uber cars, but I wanted to cancel because I guess you could say I felt uncomfortable or unsafe. So I canceled. And last year it affected my cancellation rate. But here, if you mark you feel unsafe, like in that circumstance, you can cancel. You can have the benefit of not having it hit your cancellation rate. Why does it matter? It's because if you're doing more and more rides, you don't want to have these things affect your cancellation rate because it's important to you. You don't want to have that too low, obviously, and risk your account. Let's move on. So more options and updates here. Again, 20 updates from Uber. Choose to turn on PIN verification. You now have the option to enable PIN verification for all trips or just the next session. How is this new? Look, PIN confirmations have always been from the rider or the customer if you're talking food delivery. They're the ones that have always either initiated a PIN or had any access to a PIN delivery or a PIN pickup. This is brand new because it gives you, the driver, the option to turn on PIN verifications. Again, it can either be for the session or it can be before the trip. So riders will need to share the correct 4-digit code before the trip starts, helping you make sure the right person is getting in the car. Now, again, there's resources that I pinned for you in the description. I'll put it in the comments after this video that Uber walks through different screen shares of this. So if you want to see that, you can look at those resources. I just want to make sure I get you this info first. If you have a Tesla, pay attention to this. I think more and more drivers are using Teslas for rideshare or delivery, right? You can now send route information from the Driver app directly to your Tesla display. So you don't have to like click on the navigation thing, punch it in manually. It's automatically going to be connected, which is super easy. So you no longer need to manually enter trip details. There you go. Plus, with battery aware matching, you'll only receive trip requests within your Tesla's battery range. Listen, as a Tesla owner, I have a Model Y. One of the first things I hear, with an EV in general, Teslas are really popular, so we'll just keep it on Tesla, is like range anxiety, it's called. So am I going to have enough battery for my day, or in this case, my shift? So typically, these vehicles now, the vehicle chemistry and the mileage that you're going to drive, you should be completely fine, especially if you're doing this as a side hustle. You're not driving all day. But even if you are, this new update will consider your battery life, and it's not going to send you a trip that's like 50 minutes away. Oh, I'm going to have to charge in the middle of the trip. That makes no sense. I'm not going to charge with the passenger. So that's nice. Do I recommend getting a EV or a Tesla or frankly, any new car just to do gig work? No. I mean, if you're going to do gig work, especially full time, you want someone else to incur that depreciation, whether it be a Tesla or, a standard, gas vehicle. Having said that, if you're in the market for an EV anyway, or if you're interested in an EV, I have 20,000 miles on my Tesla Model Y. My brother, Matt, my twin brother, has a Model 3. I think he has, I don't even know, 40, 50,000 or maybe even plus miles on his Model 3. I have also driven a Model 3 for 2 weeks on Uber, specifically for rideshare. So if you're in the market, they are fantastic vehicles. If you are interested in a Tesla, there is an affiliate link down below to save $1,000 on any Tesla. Full disclosure, it's an affiliate link, but there's only 9 left. It'll save you $1,000 on any Tesla model. But just keep that in mind. You have to make your own financial decisions. I don't want you to spend money on a brand new vehicle just for gig work, but if you're considering it for your family anyway, or for yourself, they're fantastic vehicles. But hey, my other vehicle, my work vehicle, is a Volkswagen Passat standard gas vehicle. Just an option for you. Let's move on. Go hands-free with Siri Shortcuts. You can say, hey, go online with Uber, or hey, it was open up my preferences on Uber. Or you could say, hey, I don't want to trigger your phone. Hey, open up my earnings on Uber. So these are small changes, but imagine this. You're driving in the city or on the freeway, you're flying, and I don't want you, and Uber doesn't want you to take your hands off the wheel. Like, I get it. We're doing it to operate, the phone with order requests and stuff, but we don't want to do that more than we need to. Now there's voice commands. So you can just open it up with these voice commands, which is nice. Kind of, what's it called? Quality of living kind of improvement there. Next update set. Fairness. Improvements to help give you more control over your Uber experience. Folks, if you're just joining, 20 new updates announced just yesterday from Uber for mobility and Uber Eats. So drop a like on this video if you appreciate me bringing this to you first, and consider subscribing. My name is Mike. I've done gig work since 2015. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. Appreciate you being here. Keeping riders accountable. If a rider's behavior is inappropriate, you can provide feedback post-trip to let us know they were disrespectful. We'll send them a warning and tips from real drivers for how they can improve on future trips. We'll also be sharing important information with delivery customers, see delivery as well here, restaurants, grocery stores, and merchants on Uber Eats to explain what respectful interactions with couriers look like. And then, as always, if they continue to ignore the community guidelines or fall below a certain rating, just like you with your driver rating, same thing with Courier. It's one driver rating under the Uber platform, then you may lose access there. And then if you experience any harassment, etc., obviously always report it to Uber in this case, or any app here. I've done a lot of rides, especially in those early years, and then food delivery. I will say, having worked on most every single major gig app out there, I could count 10 or less interactions where someone said something like personal, like really came after me. Probably maybe even on one hand. But here's the thing. It's a numbers thing, right? Like, I understand if you do more and more rides. It's just statistics. You're working with the public. Now, I think you always have to be cognizant of customer service. I've worked in call centers, folks. This is why I think I'm a fantastic place to learn about this gig work, because I've done customer service. I've done retail. So I've had, face-to-face. I've done the B2B, business to business. So I want you to stay cool as well. Just be aware of de-escalation techniques, customer service, deflecting. I've had someone once that was trying to fight and I had to deflect them. Thank you, Jose, for the super sticker. If you feel so inclined, folks, you can leave a super thanks if you're watching in the replay, or a super sticker or super chat if you're watching live. And I'm going to do a Q&A after this video for you. I just want to make sure I get the info for you first. Giving you the option to block riders. Currently, you'll always unmatch if you rate a passenger a 1-star. But now, if you're rating a rider, again, mobility here, 2 or 3 stars, you get this toggle here that gives you the option to block them. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you just don't really want to give them 1 star. You're like, oh, I don't really want to give them 1 star for whatever reason. I'm going to give them a 2-star. And you may not even realize this. You may not even realize it. Like, they were bad, but they weren't the worst. 2 or 3 stars. Then you'll see this option pop up. Gives you the option. Now, these updates, folks, are coming over in the next couple of weeks. So you're probably not going to see this right now, but you will see this in the coming weeks on the Uber Driver app. And I know a lot of us are doing courier work as well, because that's kind of what I focus on is delivery apps and other task-based apps, not so much mobility. But again, I recommend channels like the Rideshare Guy for specifically mobility. But just giving the option is nice, because you don't have to block them if you don't want to. Getting alerts and sharing info when your account's at risk. Now, this is something that DoorDash just announced, just to give you a flavor of what DoorDash is doing. DoorDash, in the last week or so, 10 days, they announced changes to their deactivation appeals process, giving you in-app info and expected timelines for appeals of deactivations. And it looks like Uber, is doing something similar here. Last year, we announced major changes to our deactivation processes, including a way for drivers and couriers as well to provide new information to support their case. You always want to do that. If you suspect a deactivation is coming from a fraudulent claim, Uber now has drug testing available for free if you get a false claim that you were impaired. And it 100% happens. I've heard of that since I basically started rideshare. That you're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm completely normal. But sometimes you'll have disrespectful and just fraudulent customers that'll say whatever. So Uber provides free drug testing for that, and they'll provide you a chance to have more information. Screenshot stuff, screenshot texts, screenshot GPS info if you want, if you feel like anything's kind of off for the trip, but there's even more here. And then they'll give you, again, a description of what happened, any recordings or photos. See, they're giving you a chance to put in everything in here. Now, obviously, the best thing you can do is just follow the best practices, right? So here's exactly why I just want you to stay cool Okay. Don't ever argue. It's going to escalate a situation. The same thing that I kind of did with retail. We can de-escalate, not escalate. It's just going to make it worse, right? De-escalate or divert their attention, the conversation to something else. Or if you have to, yes, end the trip, but just do it like calmly, respectfully. Just make them understand, what's going on. And obviously, if it keeps getting worse, you can, continue to escalate at a police station, also while contacting Uber support. Here's the app change. Here is the app change. Our first app redesign since 2018. Are you ready for a first look? Here's the first look at what Uber's doing for their brand new driver app. And I will say, as a side hustle expert here, if I may, I talk to drivers and workers like you every single day. I just said that I didn't think Uber was doing enough compared to competitor DoorDash. Obviously, DoorDash is just doing delivery. We could compare maybe Uber and Lyft. Let me know which one you like better down below in the comments. But it's nice to see that they are making some pretty substantial changes here. First, redesign since 2018. Let's take a look. Simpler decisions with our brand new home screen. I didn't know how I felt about this. How do you feel about this? Later this year, 2024, you'll notice a new home screen with clearer guidance to help you decide whether now's a good time for you to go online. Plus, key sections of the app like earnings and inbox are now just a tap away. So this right here is the new home screen. So how you open your Uber app right now and it shows the road, right? It shows like the whole map, like this section right here. Like it'll just be this. It's your current location. It'll show, your map and any surge zones or something like that. Now they're going to show you right at the top any maybe forecasts will say if it's busy. Below that, they show the actual map, the heat map. The go online button is larger. It's more accessible now. And then what you want to see at a glance is going to be at the bottom, earnings, your inbox, your home screen. Here's the 3-line menu to get your account. It's still there. It's just in a different spot right now. Now, if you're like me, if you like the map icon with like the roads, because I just want to see what the whole market is doing on Uber, because it's not broken down into different subsegments like DoorDash. I just want to see what the map's doing. You just click on this, okay? You just click on the little mini map and then it expands for the whole phone and it'll give you that traditional map view, I believe they call it. But there's more. Don't worry. There's more. Get a clearer breakdown of weekly customer fares. I have heard the debate, again, since I started in 2015, is what is Uber's cut? And I've seen debates on message forums and whatnot talking about they're taking more money. They're taking more money. Here's what the customer paid. I asked what the customer paid, and this is what I was getting. I have no reason to believe that those anecdotes aren't true, right? That's not what I'm saying. But we always want clarity when it comes to earnings, right? I just want to make sure, what am I getting versus maybe what the company's getting. So now they're breaking it down more. This view shows every dollar a rider pays and where that money is going. From your take-home pay to insurance and fees, you'll be able to see what percentage goes where, all in the app. So, the big debate is, Uber takes like 30% now. They take 40%. So now they're going to actually show you the percent. Not only that, but they're going to show you a breakdown. This is driver pay in the blue. I don't know if they give us more detail on that. They don't. Let's see if I have a graphic for you. I had some graphics screenshot for you. I don't know if I screenshot that one for you though, folks. But again, you can see more details on their presentation link down below. I don't think this is one that I screenshot for you, but that's okay. So this is, let's say it was driver pay. I remember that, the blue, because it's the biggest portion of the pie. And this presentation was led by CEO Dara Khosrowshahi as well as other executive team members. So 60% is for you. And then this was, like government fees. This was, operational expenses. And there's some other things in there. But you'll see that in the new Uber app. Now, Hey, trust me, I know there's still going to be debates of like, oh, how accurate is that? Really, right? I get those debates, but I mean, these companies want to be transparent with you. Why would they want to upset the third of their business foundation? It's merchants, customers, and drivers or couriers. So I do believe they want to be transparent because they want you to be happy on the platform. So you use their platform versus a competitor, right? It makes sense. So this is nice to see if you're a numbers person. Speaking of, track your earnings with session summaries. You'll now see an option to view your session summary when you go offline. So what this was as soon as you go offline, Uber is now going to give you basically a quick summary of how it went. So you can see here, nice, you accepted and completed 5 trips in a row. Okay. Here's where you want to follow someone else as well, other than just like read Uber stuff. Again, consider subscribing here. I'm just one resource, but consider it. Because they'll say like, nice, you completed 5 in a row. Only accept 5 trips in a row if mathematically it makes sense. Like now they have trips in a row, which is a pilot bonus program. And then they've always had for some time the consecutive streak bonus. I just want to let you know, don't accept 5 or 6 in a row unless it mathematically makes sense. But you can see here, here's the trips offered, trips completed. They're going to send you a little snapshot after you're done. You know, it's always, the numbers have always been in there, but now they're sending you something that's a little clearer. Okay, here's something about making more money. Do you like making more money? Do you want to have access to more earnings opportunities? If yes, can you drop a like on this video? It does help, so I appreciate it if you can drop a like on this video. Now, we want to have access to as many earnings types and modes as possible. If you like DoorDash's Earn by Time, Uber is piloting flat rates, which is basically earn by time. That's guaranteed active hourly pay. So when you're on an assignment, when you accept it to when you deliver it or drop off, if it's a ride share. But look at this. Getting access to more order types. Access more opportunities with Work Hub. It's still in there, the Work Hub. You can go in there right now. We are redesigning the Work Hub in the Driver app so it's easier for you to sign up for new earnings opportunities. We're also expanding the number of opportunities available so you can try out more trips like alcohol delivery or orders that may require an insulated bag, such as pizza orders. The same thing that DoorDash does with the pizza orders. So here's what I'll tell you with this. Take a look at it. This is going to be in your Work Hub. Pros and cons. So number one, it's going to show you at a glance, am I missing any order type that I could opt in for? So this is kind of like Dasher preferences where you can toggle off. This is basically toggling on. So you can see there, food delivery, I'm approved. But alcohol, I might need to add that. Now, some states may need a training on alcohol deliveries. I think here in Pennsylvania, this presentation was taking place in Washington, D.C. DC, I believe the presenter said that you need training as well. It's super easy. It's not like go to a class at a building. It's, do it in the app. It takes a couple of minutes just learning the laws and the best practices. Rent valet. Deliver rental cars to customers with Rent Valet. I think it's a fantastic idea. I will take any new earnings opportunities, and that is exclusively for Uber because obviously DoorDash doesn't do mobility. So you could, I guess this would be, and I'm trying to remember what the presenter said. I go to a Hertz or an Avis. Those are the partners that Uber uses for their rental cars. I could just deliver the valet vehicle. I mean, I'm just thinking operationally, like then what happens? Where do I go? Here's your vehicle. Then where do I go? Like, I don't want to spend money on an Uber to get back to my car. So unless it's pre-arranged pickup and drop-offs, we'll have to look into that. That insulated bag, look, I'm looking right here. Now, we have an affiliate team storefront. It's an Amazon team storefront. It's linked down below for, accessories on this stuff. If you're doing gig work, what I always say is like more than a month, get a catering bag and a pizza bag. It's going to unlock more offers on Uber. It's going to unlock more offers on DoorDash. It's the same thing. You just verify these bags and then you're good to go. Oh, by the way, it will unlock new platforms. So catering platforms like Delivered, Zifty that require a catering bag, sometimes two. So looking at that, sometimes you'll need two, like with deliver that and whatnot. But, it's not just like, oh, I'm buying a catering bag for just Uber. Like, no, you can use it for other platforms. So that 40, $50 you spend is going to make you exponentially more the longer you do this stuff. And frankly, I bought my pizza bags and catering bags like 4 or 5 years ago, and they still look brand new. Like, it's not going to get that beat up. You're taking it from your car, putting a pizza in it, right? Let's move on. Rides, the same kind of thing. Now, the presenter gave the example of this Air Force base. Now, when I was living in San Diego, a lot of us were confused. Am I allowed to deliver to the Army or the Air Force bases that were out in San Diego? Because, they have the big security kiosk. I'm like, am I allowed to be in here? You might not be allowed because you need special clearance. You need training. So now, if you live in an area that has like an Air Force base or a facility that needs special approval, you'll see that and instructions on how to get in there. I think it's nice because at the time, I didn't want to deliver to Air Force bases because it was kind of intimidating. And I'm like, I don't think I'm allowed to be in there without clearance or something. Am I? Do I deliver to the security thing and they meet me or right? So now it's a lot cleaner. See offers outside the app. Now you can see here, Android users get detailed trip requests, even if the Driver app is only open in the background. Late 2024, that's coming to iPhone users. So I have an iPhone. You can see here, they also integrated CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. So if I want to keep my phone open, but I'm having the app online, but in the background. So maybe you're like killing some time like I am on TikTok or something. Follow me, your Driver Mike, by the way, on TikTok and Instagram. Your Driver Mike, same name, little social plug there. I can do other things basically. And then I'll get an order request that pops up. It still pops up on, I use an iPhone. It still pops up in that iOS drop-down notification, but this gives you like the actual order request. That's fantastic. Because otherwise it says Uber one request, right? Then you have to go back in there to see it. I can see it right there. Look at that. I can decline or accept. That's fantastic if we're doing something else. Because like otherwise you're just sitting there like this, just like waiting for a request to come in to actually see the request. That's pretty cool. I like that. And I believe rounding it out here of the 20 updates. Let's continue. These are just a few of the new features included in the first phase of the app redesign. And they have even more info. Can I open it? It opens up a highlight video that they presented yesterday. But let's finish. These are the last of the updates right here. Then I'll take your questions. Routes for new trips. When you're on a trip and receive a new trip request, that's an add-on offer, we call it, you'll now see pickup location and route of that new request in addition to the current trip request. Because sometimes what happens, on the current Uber driver app is you'll get their new request and it might pop up, but I don't have all the details. It'll say starting, ending, destination, but if I can't see it, if I haven't like memorized every road, I don't know where Smith Street is necessarily in my city. Like I know most of the major streets, but that doesn't help me strategize versus if I see this, it helps out. Now I'll just say, one problem that I've noticed is it covers the screen with the new add-ons. So add-ons on Uber will cover like basically the whole screen. So I can't see what I was doing. I'm trying to make my drop off for food delivery, but I see like the new details here. So, and we are live. Yes, I see questions about if this is a recording or live. For live folks, I just try to get you the info first and then do a Q&A for those watching. Real-time road info. Okay, self-explanatory. It's like Waze, adding real-time road info. You can report it on there as well, right? Easier handoffs with improved Courier navigation. So you can see here, it changed from like the little dotted line to a more pronounced route. That was already announced. That was announced almost a year ago, 8 months ago or something. This improved routing. So they're just including that in here as well. And then lastly, we're launching a new feature later this year to guide drivers and riders towards main doors and or convenient corners instead of needing to navigate a maze of side streets. I think that's fantastic. Some of these options, you're like, no, that is fantastic. Excuse me. Because trying to make a pickup, if it's a large building and you're like, well, it's this apartment, but sometimes they come out the side doors or like in the back. Now, they do have a live location sharing. I just had that like yesterday or 2 days ago with a food delivery. It was on Uber using the live location. So it shows them out of the building. It has a little live location here. So that helps. Just making sure that it's like not going the random side street or something. Makes sense. And then routing that includes traffic delays as well. 20 updates, folks, for your Uber experience in 2024 coming in the coming weeks here. Let me know what you think. Again, my name is Mike. I've been doing gig work since 2015. Rideshare, food delivery, grocery shopping, convenience, all that stuff, parcel. So I look forward to trying the new Uber app and a whole lot more to come. So again, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.